Hey everybody, and welcome back to Live Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Oz. Don't adjust your set. I actually shaved my beard down. So, yeah, this is what I used to look like before the pandemic. So, that's the thing. I'm here. It's in my little shitty apartment kitchen. Jackie Later's still in Lake Jackson. Having a blast with their new kids. So, that's a great thing. Today, we're going to do something. I've done a lot of the fried stuff and a lot of the Asian stuff, but this one turned out really well. It was like the remnants of what I had in my fridge and in my cabinets. So I put it together, made this awesome, and I love it because it actually looks like something that comes out of a restaurant, man. Like, how cool is that? Before we get into it, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube-y stuff, ring the bell to get notifications when we do this on Tuesdays and Fridays. You can also check down that link in the doobly-doo for our merch, like aprons and fake hands and spatulas and spoons and flippers and pot holders and the whole schmear. We're a small business. We very much appreciate that stuff. And let's get into it. This is going to be great. This is amazing. All right, here we go. Super simple kind of stuff sitting here. You're going to want some pork. I got like these regular pork chops. You can use whatever. You're going to want some, I got it for cheap, really. You can get you some green onions, get you some panko or whatever kind of breading you want. I like the panko stuff. You're going to need some eggs to kind of mix this up to make a fry. You want the sweet chili sauce. This is kind of where we get all our flavors from. I'm going to add some garlic powder and some sesame seeds. You're going to need some oil to cook it all in. And maybe salt and pepper if you're into salt and pepper. Everything else has got enough flavor to you really don't need that. And you're going to want some white rice in the water. We're going to do that just in the background. We have a whole nother video on how to do rice, okay? So, first things first, you're going to wash your green onion. I'm going to use all of these. These have been around a little bit, so they're getting a little wilty at the green end. So we're just going to wash them all, come back, use a nice sharp knife, shout out to Andy again, and get rid of all the roots at the one end, and then just cut these down. Now, we're not going to cook them, so we're just going to cut them down and set them aside, get you a ramekin or whatever you can find, bowl, paper towel, whatever. So you want to cut these at about 1/4, an 1/8 of an inch in freedom units worth of these. Just a single chop down here, whatever makes you happy. If you want more onion flavor in that, leave it longer. That way you get more in your mouth at a single time. If you want less, go ahead and cut it down smaller. Okay, again, just get it in a ramekin, set it to the side. We're going to do this with a couple of things. All right, so your pork stuff. Again, get you a nice sharp knife. Now, you got to be careful with pork because it's kind of like cutting humans. The blade gets gummed up real easy. So if it starts where it won't cut real well, just run it through some hot water. So you want to do these in about 1/2 to 1/4 inch cubes. Not here. Don't want to do it too small because it's hard to keep track of them while you're frying it. But cut it one way, cut it the other way, get your nice cubes there. Like I said, just 2 or 3 cuts per, where it's decent size. They don't have to be uniform, but you don't want them too big. You want to make sure to try to cut them all the way through. If you don't, we can handle that later. Okay, we get that, set it aside. Now start your rice right before you do your frying stuff. Get your water up to boil. 2 cups of water to 1 cup of rice is generally how I was taught, which is probably wrong, but that was how I was taught. So get you a bowl, get you 2 of your eggs. You're going to crack these in here and blend these up. Now you can just make a batter, is what I keep getting yelled at all the other videos are. Mix the eggs and your panko or your flour or whatever, make a batter. It's easier to dip, whatever. I like a little bit more control in that, so I'll beat the eggs like they owe us money and just get them to the side where it runs through a fork relatively easily and set it to the side. Now, I'm going to try the bag way to do this. Be sure to check your water once it's at a slight boil. Go ahead and add your rice, bring it back to a boil, then turn it down and let it simmer, okay? So, like I was saying, so we're going to do the bag version of this. So go ahead and put a handful of this, not all of it, into your egg. Get a nice egg coating, and then we're going to put all of our panko stuff into the plastic bag. Now, Jack had mentioned doing this before. I generally don't do it because I lose a lot of egg along the edges of the plastic, so it doesn't stick as much to my pork and to my breading. But we're going to try it with this because the panko is looser. You don't have to worry about it too much. So get you a decent sized plastic bag. Don't have to. You can put this on a plate and just toss it next to it. But this apparently just makes it easier and makes it easier to get panko all over your oven. I'll get to that in a minute. So get it where it's nice and fit in there. I just went ahead and put in the whole bag. If you're going to have more than 1 pound of pork, then you might need more than that. Or if you're going to do more than 1 coating. So get your pork, get a handful of it, make sure to drip a lot of that runny egg off of there. Like you want egg on it, but you don't want to run off. There's that part there where we're talking about it gets all stringy. Go ahead and just pull it apart. So take the handful of this and put it in your bag. Now, it's going to get it on your hand a lot. Like, I haven't found a good utensil to use to do that. But once you get that in there, get your hand clean, seal it, make sure to seal it. What I didn't show you there is I didn't seal it properly and I spilled it and just got panko all over the world. But once it gets in there, you see what it looks like. It's nice and coated. Now you can cook it with just one coat. See, this is just, I went through and did the whole thing. It took me about 10 minutes. You just do it with this. If right like that, it's fine. If not, go ahead and put it in the fridge for 10 minutes or so, and spin you up some more eggs, because it's going to take more eggs this time, because it's going to be absorbed into the panko stuff. But either way, don't do that. Get you some your oil. Canola oil is what I'm using here. You can use vegetable oil, any kind of frying oil. Put it in here for about medium high. You want it hot. You don't want it bubbling. Okay, so let that start warming up. While you're doing that, we're going to set up everything else. Now, generally, if you're just going to do one coat, you can skip the fridge. Just bring it right out of the bag and put it right into the oil, or you can do it like I'm doing here. Now, I used just a handful of little breading that I pulled off to see if it starts bubbling a little bit, see if that's ready. So what I'm going to do is pull it right out of the bag. So we're going to take just the stuff out of the fridge, put it back into our eggs, just with the coating and stuff that's already on it. This is where you get the extra crunchy, the extra coating stuff on it, okay? Because frying, you're going to knock a little bit of it off, and you'll have the meat in between there. But if you coat it again, it's more fully covered. So just take these, give them a gentle toss. You don't want to be knocking any kind of breading off. Stay in the fridge, and the original coat will keep it on there pretty well. So just take it, pull it right up, put it in your panko here. Give it a nice toss there, and pull it right out of the bag and put it right into that oil that's already heated. It'll start cooking. Now again, if you don't want to do a second coat, you can skip the fridge, pull it right out of the bag the first time, and go right into this. That's up to you. I prefer the second coat just to get it done. Now, we're speaking about options. I mean, you can do this with like a chicken too, I guess, like any kind of protein. I wouldn't mind trying it with pork or beef. But this is pork, so be sure to check your temperature. It's 165 on the inside. Make sure it's nice and cooked. It cooks really quickly, and it cooks that way. So be sure to check it. This took about 3-4 minutes, and it started browning on one side because I didn't float it. You want to go ahead and flip it over, make sure it's brown on both sides. Once it's brown on both sides, go ahead and pull it off, okay? Get your paper towel, get you something to stir it in. Now, I'm using this Tupperware thing for later. It shows how much easier it is. You can put it in a big plate or a big bowl for the same thing. But I'm going to do this just to kind of cut some corners and show you how fast it is. So once it gets brown on both sides, your internal temperature on them is doing really well, especially when it gets that dark brown. It's fine. It's light. Then flip it over. And this is one of the problems with the bag method, is you'll have a bunch of pieces stick together when you go to cook them. And it always bothers me. So break those up. Be nice and gentle with them. So once you got that whole thing, like I had to do it in like 3 different batches. Took me about 8 minutes apiece. Go ahead and pull your paper towel out, that magic weapon. And you still got them in the Tupperware. This is where you're going to season it. Season it with whatever you want to use. I use garlic powder and then sesame. Again, sesame is completely up to you, especially if you're allergic to it. Shout out to my buddy Frank. And then throw in your onions in here. The ones we cut up, set to the side. And then there's your sweet and spicy sauce, right? That's what it's here for. I'm just going to take it. It's going to use about half to 3/4 of your bottle here. What I end up doing, as I usually do, is about half to 3/4. Give it a toss, and if it's not quite coating everything with at least a little bit, I don't want it swimming, but if it's not there, this is where I stop that time. I'll go ahead and add the rest of it. So go ahead and put that in there. Now you can use a big spoon and toss it around, or you can just put a lid on whatever you got. Right? Like you can use a spoon, stir it up, whatever, in a big bowl. But you can take this and then just shake the hell out of it. And you're going to be coating the whole thing. Now, you're going to lose some on the lid or whatever, but it'll drip off later if you keep using it. But see how it coats it nice? But it's not completely covered, so I'm going to go ahead and add the rest. But that's it. Put it on a bed of that rice that absorbed all the water over in the back. Turn off the heat from there. But this is amazing. It's super simple. It sounds complicated. I added an extra step, which makes it more complicated for me. But you don't have to use that part. This is very good. It's well under our budget of $10. This makes enough for a family of 4, especially with the rice. It doesn't, have to have anything next to it. This is a full meal, right? This is absolutely great. It's great for meal prep. You can reheat it later. The rice gets a little tough when you reheat it, but the rest of it is amazing. You really need to try this. And there you have it, folks. How amazing is that? That turned out just chef's kiss. Gotta love it. Again, if you look at the clock over my shoulder, you notice that I just shot these one after the other, mostly because they've been mowing outside, so I just did the food instead, and now they're working on the pool, so I'm not going to complain because they're working on the pool. I want to do some stuff out there on the grill, the pool for you guys. It's coming up soon, so that'll be cool. But how's this food, man? this fried pork stuff, this was amazing. Like, if you do it differently, you want to see us do it differently, let us know. Put it down in the comments, man. That's what the comments are there for. I'll be happy to revisit stuff like this. Like, I was absolutely amazing. Like, somebody said they do the same kind of stuff, but they mix like a fish and soy sauce stuff to coat it in, and I was like, that had to be amazingly salty. But I wanted to try it anyway, so we're gonna have to try that next time. You can find us here and complain about everything, or you can find us on social media. You can find us at Facebook, Pinterest, or Patreon. You can find us at all those at Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. You can also find us on Instagram at Living Between. You had to shorten it down over there a little bit. You can find me, Osway Nerdy. Most of all my old pictures are all the big beards, so it'll be me, I swear. But you can find me on all those, but I'm also on Twitter and TikTok, where I've been doing a lot of like smaller recipe stuff and a lot of my nerd and geek stuff across both of those. Like, my Instagram is all my miniature painting stuff. Whatever. Y'all can come find me there. You can find us here every Tuesday and Friday, and I will see y'all next time. I'm going to go eat some more of this stuff. And hopefully the pool will be done by tomorrow. Y'all be safe.